Let's go. This is your man, Mike Bowens. I'm coming to you once again. Listen, I got a very powerful message. This message is entitled, Why People Have Panic Attacks. Why people have panic attacks. Listen, this happens all throughout the world. Whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in Europe, right, or South America, right, all throughout the world, people suffer from panic attacks. And panic attacks is when the cares of this life, when you become so full that it overwhelms you and you feel like you can't breathe because you don't see how you're going to make it out of the situation that you're in. Have you ever been there? I've been there before when, I didn't have enough money for the month, or not enough food for, the next day or next week, or not enough money to pay the bills, and, you're about to get evicted, or you're like, oh my gosh, what I'm going to do? Your mind just starts racing because it doesn't seem like there's any way possible for these things to work out. And the thing about it is, sometimes you go through tough times. That's just a fact. That's just a part of life, right? Not every decision that you make, it works out in your favor. Sometimes things just happen. But the Bible teaches us to cast our cares upon the Lord because He cares for us. After going through those panic attacks several years ago, sitting in my car, and then you have a bunch of thoughts running through your mind. Some people even go as far as having suicidal thoughts. Maybe they shouldn't live anymore. Maybe they should take their own lives. But the fact of the matter is, not to go off the topic here, but there's life after death. So you never really die. You just transfer from one realm to the next. And, committing suicide, basically, that's committing murder. So a person that commits murder, they don't go through the heavenly gates, right? They go the other direction. And so you really want to learn how to cast your cares upon the Lord, especially in the times that we live in. Because, see, for me, I don't watch the regular news all the time. I watch the weather. I see what's going on in the world. Don't get me wrong, locally. But because technology has increased, everything that happens everywhere in the world is broadcast. Something that's happening in Iran is broadcast. Israel is broadcast. Africa is broadcast. Europe is broadcast. In your neck of the woods is broadcast. In United States is broadcast. Everywhere in the world, they keep pumping it out 24/7 because guess what? Bad news is a business. Advertisers pay money, right, to advertise on the news networks. Huh? Yeah. Most people don't look at it like that. Oh, it's just the news. No, it's not just the news. The news I like to hear is the good news of Jesus Christ. That's what I want to hear. Keep my mind stayed on Him, that He shall keep me in perfect peace. Peace is my most important asset. It's more important than me having so many rental properties, or how many times I preach, or how many vacations I go on. Peace. Because you can have all the money in the world and have no peace. You can have the biggest business in the world but have no peace. Because when you have peace, the peace of God, right, the Bible says He gives you peace that surpasses all understanding. So even when it looks like you should not be at peace, you can have peace, right? But it's an art form to it, right? Keeping your mind stayed on Him. That means you meditate on His word day and night. You're constantly thinking about His word. You're listening to worship songs. See, I've never met a person who's constantly sad or have panic attacks who constantly listens and sings praise and worship songs throughout the day. Never. It's not. It just won't work. So a great part of what we're suffering, what people suffer, is they're not learning how to manage their thoughts properly. They're not learning how to cast their cares on the Lord. They're not understanding how to be at peace within themselves in whatever situation they're in. I remember there was a time where I wanted to rip my own skin off, right, and get away from myself, my situation, because my situation, from my point of view, seemed so bad that I'd rather be somewhere else besides with myself. I don't know if you ever been in a place like that. That's a lot to deal with. Until I came to the point where I was making myself sick. I was making myself even more frustrated. It's like, you know how you could be upset, but you can make yourself more upset if you keep rehearsing it in your mind, you keep talking about it, you keep thinking about it. It just keeps going, because it's like a storm brewing within you, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You're killing yourself, right? Because you're only hurting yourself. Because you got to learn how to take to those thoughts. Listen, I'm in charge of you. I'm not going to let you cause me to have panic attacks. I'm not going to have you make me depressed. I'm not going to have you make me sad and upset and frustrated and do things out of my character. See, you're in control, not your emotions. You're in control, not your circumstances. So though your circumstances may not be the way that you desire them to be, you can still have the peace of God in that circumstance. You still can have the peace of God while you're going through the transition from where you are to where you want to be. And so keeping your mind stayed on Jesus, keeping your mind stayed on Him is what's going to keep you in perfect peace. That's what's going to eliminate the panic attacks. That's going to allow you to be able to sleep, right, at night instead of laying on your bed with your head on the pillow, looking up at the dark, wondering how you're going to pay the bills. How you going to make it through the next week? How you going to make it through? Listen, that's not going to change it. That's not going to change it. Even when you read the story about Jesus when He was on the ship, right, with the disciples, and it was a storm brewing. Jesus was asleep on the ship. Everybody else was up wondering, Jesus, what you going to do, Jesus? What you going to do? You just going to let us die? What you going to do? Right? They woke Him up. He got up. He said, oh, you of little faith. He spoke to the wind. He spoke to the storm. And the storm calmed down. And nobody could believe it. They said, what kind of man is this that he even speaks to the storm? He speaks to the wind. He speaks to the seas, and they obey Him. The Bible says that God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So instead of you worrying about your problems, why don't you get up and speak to your problems? Speak to your storm. And then after that, do like Jesus did and go to sleep. Because you sitting up there worrying about how things are going to work out, how things are going to turn around, is not going to change your situation. I remember being a little boy going to church, Old Baptist Church, Canaan Baptist Church in Harlem. They get up there and sing, work it out, how you gonna pay your bill? Work it out, how you gonna pay your bill? Work it out, how you gonna pay your bills? Work it out, how you gonna pay your bills? All your money spent, telephone disconnect, waiting for your next paycheck. Tell you what you ought to do. Tell you what you ought to do. Why are you trying to figure it out? Hey, God already worked it out. God already worked it out. I still remember that. Sitting there clapping and praising God, because guess what? He already worked it out. You trying to figure it out, but He already worked it out. So go through what you have to go through, but go through what you have to go through in perfect peace. This is your man Mike Bowen signing off. Until next time, saying, be blessed.